video is going to walk through how to look at reports in Drawbridge. So you've got a login. If you don't have a login, reach out to support and we'll get you a login. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. And your sign-in page is going to look a little different than mine, but you're going to have this menu up here in the top. You're going to click on this menu, and I have all the different sites listed, but you're going to find your site down here at the bottom. Don't worry too much about any of this stuff at the top. Come down here to the bottom, find Columbia is the one we're going to look at, and you're going to have three. Let's look at Charlotte for a minute. You're going to have three directories. You're going to have an employees, management, and owners directory. And what that is it's basically a dashboard for that scope of audience. So this is something that at my venue all employees can see. I believe that the visibility and the insights drive a lot better results with my staff, and it aligns us really quickly because we can all see what's going on. Management is stuff that you as a management team, maybe your shift supervisors, people running shifts and up would look at this. And then owners are things that really only the owners need to see. I have a little bit of other thing that's just for me to do some back end stuff. But these employees, management, and owners, you're going to have those same directories there. Now in the employees directory, you're going to have at the top a dashboard. There's a bunch of other stuff down here. Don't worry about that. Just look at the dashboards that are at the top. In the employees directory, you're going to have one. In the management directory, you're actually going to have, we'll go to Charlotte, you're going to have three. You're going to have a closing report yesterday, closing report today, and a scheduling helper. And then in the owners, you're going to have a director's report and a payroll and taxes report. So let's walk through each one of those, and I'm just going to use the data in Columbia to show you what it looks like. So this is a little scrunched because I have a widescreen monitor, but I'm not recording on it. Basically, you have all the different tabs here with different information. I like to tell my staff that if everyone that came in today left a review, and every single person and every group rebooked, the bonuses I would hand out would equal about $1,300. Because I'm tracking rebooking codes and seeing them from Rezova, and I'm tracking Google mentions, and I'm tracking those live within an hour, I can tell them how many bonuses they've actually earned, which is usually much less than this number. And my idea there is to try to incentivize them to do that more, and I have seen an increase in activity since we've done that. Revenue per staffing hour, I tell them flat out, and if this is under $100, I let them know that this is not a great day for us. There's a lot of other expenses besides just their staffing expenses, and to make money, we need to see this above 100. This is a live count of the Google reviews. A couple of our competitors have 2,500, so we put a goal out there, and this is where we are compared to the goal. If your reports, you want a different goal, let me know. We can set that up for you. I show anniversaries and birthday parties. I show who got the most rebookings in the last 2 weeks, both by percentage of the time they rebooked, because I'm counting how often they host, and by the raw number of rebookings, and it's sorted with the top person at the top. So these leaderboards drive competition across staff. Here we are with review mentions, and then best ever reset times per room are listed in here with the date and time it happened and the reset time. Again, when I blow this out to my widescreen monitor, I don't have to scroll. Here's reset time so far today, Game Master time so far today. Hannah's run 5, and we bonus on the weekends, $2 a game you get out, so she's gotten $10 in a bonus. This is the details of those bonuses over the last 2 weeks. These are new reviews by day, games that have been paused and for how long. This is a list of my staff along the side and games across the top, and we time our resets by pushing the hint button and then hitting reset in Drawbridge, and it will log your reset times for you. This is to get my staff competing and trying to drive the resets as fast as they can, because that drives productivity. If there's ever a reset error that's been logged by the Game Master, who reset the room shows up here, and then the details of that reset show up here. These are all the Google review mentions that show a staff member by name and which staff member that's attributed to. And you'll notice that Weatherly actually doesn't have an A in it, so I've added we have an alternate spellings category. If you have a staff member who has a commonly misspelled name, for example, Adam with 1 D instead of 2, the way he spells it, or Weatherly without the A or with the A, either one automatically gets attributed to the right staff member. This is a fun little pick-me-up. You can just scroll through here and see it's listed each time for each employee. So you see it, one's listed for Maggie, one's listed for Lucy, and it just shows you all the different reviews. And we've had 45 in the last 2 weeks that mention staff. These are rebookings. When they rebooked, the person, the time of the rebooking and the game they've rebooked, the number of players they rebooked, and then who got the rebooking and when. Again, sorted by most recent, so way to go, Eden. She's got 2 rebookings so far today. And that is what I call staff stuff, because it's all stuff that I think all the employees can look at, and I really don't care. I want them to know about the business and how to make it better. For the manager, they have control over staffing hours. So you can see right now for us, this is pretty high, but it'll go down. We've got 11 games checked in, 44 games booked for today. These are the staffing hours, percent of staffing cost, and then revenue per staffing hour. And if anybody's doing anything else in the venue, it pops up over here if there's training going on or other things that we don't count in there. On time tells you how the actual time that the game started in Mithric compares to the scheduled time in Rozova. So you can see that Mansion just went back 8 minutes late. But so far today, not too bad, pretty much on time. Game revenue, total quantity and amount of each booking for the day. So I've got 44 games and about 6,200 in revenue so far on today. Who else is coming in, who's there right now, how long everybody's worked, who's in charge. Emma's got the morning, Weatherly's got the night. Things not working right now as of today. Somebody thinks the toolbox in the first room and under pressure is getting a little rusty. These are things that my handyman will pick up during the week and decide whether or not they want to action, but the game masters have a button they can click and type things in as they notice things in the room in real time. So that's managing. There's stuff for hosting games. I measure the productivity of staff based on the number of resets and hosts and game mastering they've done, their escape rate. That all calculates up to a productivity score by hour, because I also know from my timekeeping how many hours they worked, and I rank them by most productive at the top. I also showed all-time training, so Bryce is pretty much trained, but it took about 29 hours of training to get Bryce going in rooms. I measure quality scorecards where it's like reset errors. We do our own internal surveys, so they'll show up here. Are you checking in late? Are you staying early or staying late? I've got a manager scorecard that does some of the same things. So that's basically, I allow all my staff to see all this. I share information pretty freely, but that's what this is. I will show you in a future video, if you want to edit this, how you do that. In the management, we take a snapshot of that information and we have a closing report that they share at the end of the night. If they go past midnight, another copy of that for yesterday exists. So if it's 1 a.m. and they're trying to do it on Sunday morning and they're trying to do it for Saturday, they can pull this one up instead of that. They're basically the same report, just one day apart. The other thing that you're going to have is a scheduling helper. This is a work in progress, but I'm actually kind of excited about where this is going. These are future bookings that I have booked for the next 14 days. See, it's actually going up, which is interesting. These are bookings in general for the next 2 weeks, so you can see if you've got any groups or anything like that, it's listed in there. This is the average booking by day for the last 4 weeks. So day 0 is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So what I've done then is I've multiplied the the average number of games with 1.2. We try to keep our staffing hours below 1.2. And I basically give this to my scheduler and I say, look, we need to keep our total staffing hours for the day on a Saturday shouldn't be more than 74 staffing hours, max. So that's your bucket, figure out how to fill it. The other interesting thing about this is the blue is the games that existed at the start of the day and the green is games that booked during the day. And you see we're about 50-50-ish, maybe a little bit more in what existed at the start of the day and what exists at the end of the day. This is average bookings per hour. This is bookings in the next 30 days that are over $350, which is for our venue, 8 people in Scooby. If you want a different number there, I can do that for your reports. But you can see we've got a buyout on the 21st, and then you see maybe a birthday party, another birthday party. You can very quickly jump through and see what's coming up in the next 30 days. These are staffing hours compared to the target, and so you can see that actually my scheduler is still staffing a little more on some of these days than I would like, but then not enough during the week. So still kind of a work in progress. This is all meant as a help. It's going to get a lot more sophisticated. I'm going to try to pull in some weather data, some other things, some historical data, and then use a little bit of AI to try to predict some things. So stay tuned, but for right now, this is in management as the scheduling helper, and it should hopefully help you with your scheduling. If you're trying to decide who to schedule, these are all the things that we measure our employees on. So this is that productivity scorecard. These are review mentions. If I keep scrolling down, these are rebookings. These are reset errors in the last 4 weeks. These are reset times for the last 4 weeks. So you can kind of get a feel for where people are. And for example, Lucy, number 2 here, where's she at? She's pretty far down over here. Not a lot of rebookings compared to everybody else, but a pretty good percentage, 15%. So I might want to give Lucy more hours because she's pretty productive. People like her, and she gets some groups rebooked as well. So it helps you see kind of where people are, have some conversations with people here at the bottom. If you look at Bryce, who's in training, he gets a 12, whereas Taylor gets a 51. So in terms of what they're getting done in the venue, these people are a lot more productive, 40s and 50s, compared to the people down here in the 20s and lower. Megan does a lot of cleaning. That doesn't show up, but so she's probably a little bit higher. But everybody else down here, we've actually had some conversations about how they're doing and helping them try to do better. So that's the scheduling helper. And then I've drafted by day of the week. So on Sunday by hour, how many people you should try to have. Not perfect, right? Because you can't go from 5 to 3 and back to 5 again. So it needs a little work. But eventually, what I'm looking to build is a draft schedule that just takes all this other data, populates people, looks at our humanity availability, and just takes a range of inputs and just basically drafts a schedule for you and says, how about doing this? So that's where we're going with the scheduling helper. Last one, owners. You're going to have 2 things in here. You guys don't do surveys, so don't worry about that. You're going to have a director's report and a payroll and taxes. Again, don't worry about all these. These are all the building blocks down here for these 2 dashboards. So just focus on the dashboards. That's all you really need. Director's report. If you were active on the 1st of August and it was actually pulling from Rezova at that point, this director's report for this month is a live number. That's where you are so far. It's how many people have played your licensed games. It's how many destination coupon visitors you've had, and then accrued fees based on your franchise fee, your royalty, your innovation. Yeah, so that's accrued fees is the overall total. There's the 6% royalty, the 2% innovation, gaming fees, Escapology fee, Rezova fee, all that adds up to $3,700 in accrued fees. This is that number for last month, and then this is that number year to date. Trend and activity analysis is really interesting. I encourage you to spend some time here looking around, seeing what's listed. These charts and graphs are really interesting. You can click on these to make them bigger. I'll just show you this one. This is group bookings from last month. So this is everybody over $350, which again was more than 8 people in Scooby. And so you can see what happened on what day. And then you come over here and you hover, and I've got 15, 8, 15, 53. That's my group booking number that I'm going to put in my director's report for July. All right, so it's just a lot of information here, a lot of stuff that could be really interesting. Again, for the last 4 weeks, how are your games doing by game? Where's your revenue coming from? And then that's all looking backwards at what the trends have been. Leading indicators is looking forward. So in the next 30 days, how many bookings do I have over 350? What are my bookings doing? Is it going up or down? What's the total number of my future bookings? Over here on the left is by item, the number of future bookings. So we've got about 28,000 in future games. It's a little bit deceptive because we put our dollars in one of the games rather than in a package usually. And so Lost City looks a lot higher than it is because we usually put the games in there. Or the big groups in there. So that 8,400 and 258 players is probably not completely accurate because they're going to, when time goes on, they're going to get split up into the other games. But a lot of things that are happening into the future. How far ahead are people booking? It's been rising as we've gotten out of summer, which is great. Getting people booked further out, we can start to predict further out. We can schedule better farther out. So customer acquisition, a little deceptive. We started Rezova in July and imported a bunch of customers the first couple weeks. So that number is going down as people are showing back up again because they've been here since July 1st. And when they come back a second time, they don't look like a new customer. They look like a returning customer. So I expect that to trend down for a little while. But lots of useful information just to step back and say, how's my venue doing and what do I really expect to have happen in the next few weeks? So those are your reports. You've got employee level, management level, and owner level. In other videos, I'm going to show you how to customize these not into the details of the coding in that, but just some very simple things you can do to get things automatically sent to you, to post them, to share them as bookmarks with your staff, that sort of thing. So stay tuned.